And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
What's up, dudes?
Sup?
Yeah, buddy.
What's going on, man? Happy Tuesday.
Yes, welcome back, brethren.
I was going to say
Missed you.
Monday, but
Brethren.
it's not Monday.
Brethren.
Isn't it funny how it feels like Monday even when it's not Monday? It just depends on when you start the week. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we could have started on Wednesday. It still feel like a Monday.
Yeah, I know. I almost forgot to put the garbage out today
Oh, damn.
because
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, it comes on Tuesday, and then I get up and I'm getting ready to walk out the door, and Ash goes, "Did you put the garbage out?" She was like,
"You put the gas out this
she was like half asleep. "You put the garbage out,"
Oh,
and I was
man.
like, "Oh shit, no, I didn't."
Yeah. I when I got home, it's the first thing I did because I'm like, I'm going to forget. Because we were in Houston all weekend. We got back. And I was like, I need to get this shit out now because I'm gonna like lay down. I'm not gonna be wanting to get back up. So that's how it was, man. It was a long drive, dude. You know, it's a lot.
So
of
how
lot of
was
driving.
it? Let's talk about Houston real quick.
It was good, man. It was.
I really like that area that
I do
we're
too.
moving to, dude.
I do too. I enjoyed it a lot. We gotta see the house, the update on the house. You guys had a cool place.
Yeah,
in
we
April
rented
Sound.
the Airbnb in like this super high end fucking area.
Yep.
Right
Ooh,
on
plush.
right on the lake. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. That's the area. April Sound is an area that I would love to be in long term, just because it's a lot of amenities. A lot
Yeah,
of
but you're
pools.
not gonna get a house there for under 600,000.
Oh yeah, you can.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing there available for under.
Well, not available, but there's houses there. It goes between 2 and $1 million. 200,000. You can get a single bedroom condo
Oh,
for like 130,000. But we were looking at houses when we were saying like, hey, 400,000. Like he's like, yeah, I can get you in at 400,000, no problem. So they're there. It's just it's not very big.
Well,
you have
so
to
he's
wait.
looking. You're looking. You found some, right?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah,
well, yeah, we put an offer on a house yesterday.
yeah. Good. I'm happy for him.
So I mean, that's big news right there, dude.
Yeah. The house we picked needs a little bit of love, but
Yeah?
we're fine with that.
Yeah.
But the house
You're
has
good at loving houses.
the house has everything we wanted.
Yeah.
Like everything, all the boxes were checked off with the house. It's just gonna need a little bit of elbow grease to get it exactly the way it could be.
Which is
Elbow grease.
perfect,
Dude,
dude.
before you cut everything down, you got to do one thing for me.
What?
Make a glory hole somewhere and just send me a picture of it.
Okay.
What, you
That's
want to see my
hilarious.
dick in it too, or no?
No, you could just put a dildo through there, bro. I don't need to see
Oh,
your
okay.
wang.
Just like one
just need
before you
the
break a
hole.
wall down. Just have
He
one
just
hole.
wants to see the hole.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
it's cool, man. It's cool. That was the whole goal for them, right? And you had your brother-in-law
Yeah.
and sister-in-law come out, and so we got to spend time
Yeah.
with them,
Because
which was nice.
they are moving down here too. They're preparing to sell their house.
Yep.
Now,
So-
are they moving to the same area or are they going to Austin?
No, they actually really liked the Conroe area too.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
It was good, man. And you're
Did
only
they put an
like,
offer down?
No, they haven't found anything yet. They still are focused on trying to get their house ready to sell. So
Yeah.
I get
once that goes up, then they're gonna actually be. They found a couple houses they really liked and areas they really liked.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that's gonna stay on the list when they're actually ready to shop.
it's hard when you don't have like how much money you have yet, and everything is just like Chris and Ash. Like they finally
Exactly,
got
right.
like the numbers, and then you
Yeah.
can really be proactive. And they're not quite there. The big thing with them was just like, hey, do you like this?
Yeah.
And we hung out. They seemed to enjoy it. The area, I mean, it's a beautiful area, dude, and lots of options.
Yeah.
And Chris is, if this house goes through and everything works, they're like 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away from us, which is not far at all. And yeah, well, it was great, dude. We got to hang out. We got to do the pool all day, basically. On what, Sunday? Was that Sunday? Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said there was like 40 people in there, dude.
Yeah, man. It wasn't a huge pool, but it was like super nice out there. It was a nice pool. But they had like
Yeah.
some all-star team. Baseball team was there. So
Yeah.
all the families and kids.
Oh, yeah.
And so we went out in the morning at like 10, and I just laid in the sun for a couple hours. Got a little got a little dark. You know what I mean? It's nice. And
Now, did the water start turning green? Because I heard that they started adding those chemicals. When you pee in the water, it'll change a different color.
there was no green.
But it did have a lot of bark chips floating in it.
There was a lot of bark chips.
Because the kids would like run up because it had like a garden up above the pool, and all the kids were running up through the garden and then jumping off into the pool.
Yeah, it was like an elevated rise with waterfalls, and so the kids were running up there, and I kept like trying to be a good citizen. I was washing off that thing. I was like, man, we don't want this bark here, but there was a lot of bark debris that ended up happening. But either way, the kids
seems like a poor design. Like, hello, people are going to jump off this shit.
Yeah, I'm sure they weren't thinking of little kids jumping, 4 feet off the top of the end of the pool.
Yeah. Either way, it was fun. The kids really enjoyed seeing like all the kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
even my daughter jumped off of it, and
did.
Sadie was jumping off of it.
Oh, Sadie was going balls, dude, on it. She just kept going. It was actually, I told Jill, you need to get in because I can't keep doing this. I had to lift her up over and over. But no, the weather was great. We got to go to the mall. We got to hang out, just kind of get familiar with the area. Got to look at all the schools for the kids. So we went to the elementary school that they're going to, which was brand new, 2-story, huge.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Went to the middle school.
2 stories?
Dude, it's a monster.
Their
of a
schools
school,
over there are
Holy
fucking
shit.
massive.
The high school that they're going to, Conroe High School, they're actually doing a $650 million renovation of it. And it's massive.
I was like,
bro.
$1 billion. Is it? What is this? Ukraine?
Million.
They're sending money.
They have
to this
like
high school?
it's a massive fucking school, dude.
It's big.
I mean, the stadium that they're building right now is huge, and then on top of it, like their gymnasium is the size of our high school, bro. I mean, it's a monster gymnasium. So it's gonna be cool, man. There's gonna be a lot of kids. It's gonna be very diverse. It's gonna be a lot of fun for them, and that was one of our goals, was to get our kids excited. Like, hey, this is going to be your new school. Like, not to, because it's always tough to move again. But they were excited, man. They enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude. A lot of good food, a lot of good places. It was good. I enjoyed it. Tired.
Sweet.
Very tired.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about these stories and stuff. But first, you guys, the Last Americans podcast, we are all over the place right now, right? We're on IG. We're on Facebook even, I think. We're on freaking Telegram, we're on Twitter, everywhere, you guys, the Last Americans podcast, and we're now on Spotify. So if you like us on Spotify, you can rate us. I don't know what the rating system is over there, but please leave a rating and a review.
Absolutely.
Because I do read those on the toilet. And I actually see people now saying, hey, Greg, wipe your ass. Make sure this thing comes out clean. Do your duties. You know what I mean? I'm like, yes.
That's hilarious.
As the poop is leaving my body, I'm reading the comment. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get
visual.
as many people over as we can, guys. Of our listeners from Pardon My American, we want to make sure everybody's getting over. So if you're on here, you probably already are over. But make sure you share our content and stuff and help people know who we are.
Yeah.
So, that's
sharing is caring. Showing is growing.
Absolutely, man. So it's just starting the whole process over. Been very excited. It's our first, it's our what? First
second
full week? Second
right?
full week?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was kind of a weird week last week, so I'm a little off on the time. But either way, guys, really appreciate you guys hanging with us and excited about the stories today, man. We have a bunch of smaller stories, which I think are all very, very entertaining. Greg, you wanted to talk about one specifically, and I'm all about this. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, so this, I saw this in the news, and I'm like, holy Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Uh-oh, my camera's sideways. But anyway, this has to do with a nun who was exhumed. All right, her body was exhumed. She died in 2019 at the age of 95 years old, okay? And this story has to do with thousands of people, thousands of Catholics, flocking to this church to pray over the body of this nun who was exhumed because she shows no signs of decay. And I was like, no, come on, dude. Like, you got to show like a little bit of sign of decay. But I was very shocked, dude, when I'm looking at these the pictures of the bodies and all this stuff. So this was 40 miles north of Kansas City, and it's Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster. Okay. Now, she was recovered from her Missouri grave. And this, you could see like tons of people going, but look at this body.
I mean, her hands are a little.
Her hands are definitely, so like she's covered in wax. I got to say that. Like her face and her hands, her whole body is covered in wax because it's like a protective layer. And
is it covered in wax? Is that how they do it?
Yeah, so that's what they said, that they covered it in wax. So photos taken at the scene were shared online showing visitors gently touching Lancaster's hands along with her face that are covered in wax. And the nun's face and hands were covered with a wax mask after she was found intact. Because like when they first found her, they're like, I don't know what to do with this thing, because they call it incorruptibility. Okay, like when a body doesn't decay, they call it incorruptibility. And the church officials were investigating it because that is a sign of sainthood.
Yeah.
So they're actually they're looking into making this woman a saint now.
It's interesting because I was going through TikTok like a week and a half ago, and I ran across this one TikTok where they were showing religious figures, Christian, figures who have been dead for 400 years, 200 years, 100 years, probably 20 or 30 of them. Didn't look like they were dead for more than a month, bro.
Really?
And they were saying the same thing, that there is this thing about, if your body is not decaying, that it's a sign of like, sainthood. You know what I mean? Like that you were,
Incorruptibility, they call it.
Yeah.
Why are her fingers so long?
Exactly, right? They look like they've grown underground. Maybe your
Like the
phalanges
fingers
continue growing.
or is those the nails?
Well,
Dude,
no,
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
it's the nails, but maybe because your skin kind of shrinks, it
Right.
kind of makes your fingers look longer because your tissues is going away. So your actual extremities look longer. They don't look
maybe.
that long. Look at her fingers next to it. I mean, his fingers. They're about the right size. It's just
No.
Showing the fingers.
Huh. I don't
Oh,
know. That right there, that looks.
yeah, but there's a kid's hands. Look at go up a frame. See her hands? Like those fingers are not that long.
Okay.
They're not that long.
Okay.
I get
It's
ya.
just they look like a wax museum. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly,
it kind of
yeah.
comes across weird, but
Well, so my first question was, why did they dig her up?
Yeah.
Right? She was buried in 2019. I'm like, why are they digging up this nun's body? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So in this story, it says Lancaster's body was buried outside of the Benedictines of Mary, Queen of Apostles Monastery, and was dug up to be placed in a better tomb inside of the chapel.
Okay.
At the time of Lancaster's death, the nun's body was not embalmed before her burial, and her casket was made of simple wood without an exterior layer. Workers expected to uncover bones, but they instead found a perfectly intact corpse.
So she wasn't embalmed,
No.
and she had.
And she was just in a simple wood casket, no exterior, like simple, basic shit, dude.
I mean, is that shit, man? I just feel like you gave your life to Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't give him a good good casket. Like,
Well, I mean,
no
yeah.
funding. Like she was, she
was 95. I mean,
Yeah, but she gave her
you know,
life to the church, bro. You would think that they
I
hook
know,
her up
but
with a
I mean, like the
casket.
older you get, the less valuable your casket gets.
I don't know,
gotta
man.
say.
I don't know.
No, I'm just
dude.
kidding. I agree. Give her the golden casket. Fuck George Floyd. Let's take him out of that. Give the nun that George.
I don't think
Floyd
she wants
casket.
a golden casket. I think she's just like being buried with respect. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not embalmed. You're like in a crappy casket. Like I feel like that as
Yeah.
a church, that seems like a little like you wouldn't allow that to happen.
Now, normally, are people embalmed before they're buried?
I think so.
I feel like that's
I feel like that's the
the
norm.
normal thing to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
unless there was
But-
something
but
religious
why,
to
though?
it. Why what?
Why are they embalmed? I don't know why.
I think they just they get all the fluids out of you and it just helps. You know what I mean?
Helps what?
I don't know because
Maybe I think it helps like prevent rot, like because
Yeah,
you're
like
gonna get bugs and stuff, and
bloating
maggots.
and then like you're in a sealed coffin. Like I don't know, man.
You're
Like,
underground.
I know, but like if it's a sealed coffin and you start gassing up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could like blow that top off. You know what I mean? All of a sudden there's like, the ground just.
Well, check this out, you guys. Check this out.
Blows
So,
up like a landmine.
dude.
when they found her, they were like just miraculous, like stunned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they said, you can't Google what do you do with an incorrupt body. So we started with the basics, just cleaning her with hot water because clinging to her face was basically a mask of thick mold.
Ah. Huh.
Right? So she had mold all over her face. So they cleaned her off with some hot water and she looked fucking pristine, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, you could tell she's dead, but it's like, damn. You know what I mean? Like to look that good after 4 years.
I mean,
Of being
it's
dead?
it's pretty wild, man. I mean, just that you can our kind of image of what happens after you pass away is like, especially because you watch a lot of like murder shows and crime scene investigations and stuff, and obviously those bodies are just out in the open. But like, it's never pretty. You know what I mean? Like, there's even somebody that passed away in their home after a few days starts to get like real funky. You know what I mean? And so just see somebody like intact.
Well, she wasn't embalmed in any of that stuff, so I feel like your exploding theory is wrong.
Yeah, she wouldn't explode.
That's what but see, exploded. but then you could argue that that's why they want to make her a saint, right? Isn't that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Because it is not the norm. So if your body doesn't do that, they consider that to be like a, like God's protecting you, and it looks.
Did you say why they dug her up in the first place?
Yeah, to move her.
To move her where?
So they're going to move her to a better tomb inside of the chapel. There was a whole thing about it. Is the
only reason because she was just so old, or like because she was loved? Like, I don't understand why you would just all of a sudden want to move her to somewhere else.
Don't know. They had a reason for it, I guess. So
what's weird is in as far as like religious aspects, if you look up like the incorrupt bodies, religious incorrupt bodies, which is kind of some of the pictures that I've seen. A lot of these caskets are like in glass cases, man, in the churches. And so they're like always there, visible. And a lot of them don't, I mean, some of them you can tell that they're older, but there's some that are hundreds of years old that you're like, whoa, like what the hell, man? Like this thing,
Weird.
It's very, I mean, you could probably look it up, dude. Honestly, you should.
Well, now let me ask you this. We've seen bodies
like that.
of actors. We've seen, these fake bodies.
We're going there.
Do you think that this could be a fake body used to basically prop up the faith, prop up this church, make them some money, make them some fame?
Nah, because I feel like if they were doing that, they would do it a lot more. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff, it's very, very uncommon to have these pop up. And the ones that are known are like real famous situations. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a million of them. There's a bunch. But why would they not do that all the time if it was just you know what I mean? Like
because then maybe people would question it. I don't know.
Well, if you do it all the time, then you're like, okay, not all these people can be like,
yeah, exactly,
the most godly people on the planet.
Or if you did it all the time, people would be like, what the hell is happening? The rapture's coming. Oh my God.
I mean, given sainthood, I think is, like it's not common. Maybe I don't really know much about it, but I don't know, man. Maybe. But at the same time, it's like maybe certain bodies just don't decay in certain ways. Maybe her diet, maybe the way that she was, maybe the situation when she was going through, postpartum, or not postpartum, but the post, death when they were actually working on her.
Well, then how do we know, like, this doesn't actually happen a lot more often than we think? Because once people are buried, you normally don't unbury them.
Yeah,
unless there's like
that's
a crime or something, or you need to investigate it. I don't know. But that's my question, though. If she had passed away a couple years back and she was given like a poor casket, and now they want to like, put her in the church and actually give her a proper, like, why didn't you just do that in the beginning? It was only 3 years ago, man. It's like, it's not that long ago. Like, why was that decision not made? Like, she was old. You had plenty of time to like say this
to
woman.
plan this out.
I mean, at 80, you were like, this woman's gave most of her life to the church. Like, we need to do something for her when she goes. Like, and she kept living.
She had 15 more years. She was 95.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, to me, it's very odd that post-death that they decided to go about
somebody
this.
Like 3.5 years in was like, man, we did her dirty.
Or the church.
We needed to redo that.
Yeah, or the church itself was just like that. What happened there was unacceptable. She was a huge part of this church. I have no idea, dude. Look at some of these pictures, though, bro. I mean, there's some like real wild. Dude, like the one up there on the top. Like, scroll up for a second here.
You're looking at some?
Yeah, like that person on the right side.
This one?
No, over one. Or that one. That one, too. All of those. Those 3 in a row. Like, dang, dude, that's crazy, bro.
Wow, look at those hands.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are some fresh baby hands, dude.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous.
Go to the next picture.
Next one?
Yeah, can't you just... this one is another one that's interesting.
Wow. Yeah. How long have these been dead, though?
I have no idea.
There's actually like I said, there's a really cool TikTok that actually had the dates and stuff. This one, that guy right here, that's wild, bro.
This one
no, the dude up right next to it. This one's like a really clear shot of his face and stuff. Yeah, look at that. It's just like wax, bro. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we've seen these wax bodies. We've seen these fake bodies.
Yeah.
Like, it looks fake, dude.
It looks fake.
It looks like
But see,
one of those wax bodies.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I've watched enough crime shows and stuff in situations where I've heard it many times where they find a body and they thought it was fake because of, even if it's in the water for a long time, like it just, it doesn't look real anymore because of the state of decay or the state that it's in. And so, like, when you see a lifeless, soulless body, because that's what happened right here. This is the shell, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that one's not particularly fake. We don't know. There's 100 of them on here. So some of these could be fake. There's no doubt. But I'm just saying, like, there is something to the fact that, like, they're not there anymore and they seem fake because there's no soul there.
That's true. I mean, that is something. Like, as soon as someone passes away, they almost immediately look different.
Yeah, man. Have you been to open casket funerals?
Yeah. My wife's grandma.
Yeah.
That was very, very weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just weird seeing somebody who's dead. I've seen dead bodies before.
Yeah.
In like anatomy classes and stuff like that.
But you're like a relative. The only one I've ever seen was my grandpa. Dude. My grandpa, I had an open casket, and I was like, man, it's just I don't even like looking right now because it doesn't seem like it's the same person that you knew.
Yeah. I've never been to an open casket.
It's bizarre.
I think that's the point, though, is to prove to you that they've moved on and they're someone different now. You know what I mean? They're somewhere different.
It might be, and you could argue that the way that they dress, the bodies afterwards they may have done things differently than what you would, but at the same time, it's just, when you see somebody that's not there anymore, it just doesn't feel the same. And you can tell, and that's why it's hard not to believe in like having a soul and having something else, because when you see the shell that's left, you're like, oh man, really the personality and the heart and everything that was there was what made it. You know what I'm saying? Like it does. There's just something to it. So it's
I mean, to end this for me, you know what this verifies?
What's that?
Black don't crack, bro. I mean, because she was a black nun.
Oh my God.
And, I mean, she's freaking.
She looked great. She looked great, dude.
Yeah.
But there's a real mixed bag in here. I mean, we got all kinds of different, different cultures going on.
Black don't crack? Come on, man.
I mean, she looked good. I got to be honest with you. If I was 3 years into death and I looked like that, I wouldn't be mad.
That's what I'm serious. Like, I hope I look like that after I
don't.
die.
I don't care.
If you're
what
up,
I look like after I'm gone.
If you're up in heaven, bro, and let's say you can come back and visit relatives and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can see yourself. Like, can you imagine seeing yourself being exhumed and you're like, damn, I look all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting on this table. People are like holding my hand and shit. I look pretty good. You know what I mean? No? It'd be weird. I'm sorry. But if I'm like looking down from the heavens, I'm like, there I am. Not bad looking. I'm not going to say it's not
I've
bad.
thought about that. Like, would you go back and look at your body if you weren't, what is that? Burned? You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's weird. That's a weird question. I don't think that's ever been really asked. Like, because you always say, I want to go back to, but why would you? Because that's not really a part of you anymore. Like your vehicle per se is like irrelevant to the fact that like, you would spend your time with the people that you love. You'd want to go visit people that you love.
If you had the choice, like if you were still a conscious entity afterwards, I wouldn't be like, I need to go see my old body.
You just look at yourself.
It's not it's not like driving past an old house you used to own or something.
Yeah, that's not true. Well, maybe it is.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Well, maybe I guess.
You look at yourself, you're like, it was good while it lasted, my friend. Yeah, you didn't hold up great. But hey.
Well, it is. Like you said, it becomes like a shell. So it's literally just like rotting rock or something, in the ground.
It's just it's organic matter at that point. You know what I mean? It's just it's a nothing. So yeah, dude, it's interesting. And for me to end it too, like I think there is something to like, having a strong faith and maybe there is something to it,
Yeah.
These people obviously live their whole life for this religion.
I definitely believe there's something after.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that is, but there's something.
Has to be, man. That's my opinion. It has to be.
You can't believe in ghosts and believe in that stuff and not know and not think there's something.
Yeah. That's a good one, Greg. I like that. It's interesting because I don't think we talk about that much, and I think death is a very scary thing for society nowadays, where it used to be very common.
Well, I mean, look how many instances we've talked about where people are doing everything and spending millions and millions of dollars to keep from that.
Yeah.
or to keep from getting older.
The young blood transfusions.
Yeah.
And all
Apparently,
that
the
stuff.
best plastic surgery is faith. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You don't have to give up your salary. You can just give up your life to Jesus.
Damn,
and all
bro,
of a
that was
sudden-
powerful.
Yeah,
that was
yeah, man.
powerful right there.
Who needs a facelift when you got God? You know what I'm saying? Like that's how
There
we
you
got to
go.
look at it. One topic I wanted to bring up real quick was this Davenport, Iowa. This building. Did you see this collapse that happened in Davenport?
Yeah, it looks
Damn, bro.
a monstrosity.
I saw some TikTok videos just kind of scrolling through, and I was looking at it like, did a bomb go off? Like, what the fuck happened? Apparently, it collapsed, man. It just collapsed, dude. And there's this new report says a ninth person was saved from the collapse in Iowa apartment building after city officials had made plans to begin demolition. So they already,
Dude, wasn't there just a parking garage like in New York or something that
Los
collapsed?
Angeles.
So they made plans to demolish the building.
Yeah.
But there's still people living in it?
They were saying we need to apparently that we need to like tear this building down. It's like too much to fix, and we're gonna just tear it down.
Huh.
But before
Damn, bro.
those plans actually went to
It fell down on
fruition,
its own.
it fell on its own.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
look right here. Just last month in New York City, a parking garage with property violations collapsed. So
there
it
was
in
one
New
in
York City.
There was one in L.A. though. that happened.
Yeah, and then like in 2021, it looks like a condo building collapsed. Remember that they were blaming DeSantis in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yep.
Hey, what are you doing over here, DeSantis?
But
People are dying and your stuff's collapsing on itself.
Oh, yeah.
There's still like in this particular building, they're still looking for people, man. There's still people missing right now.
Well, yeah, they're underneath all this shit.
Yeah.
Is there a video we can watch here? Or is that-
It's really not. I don't know. There's no. I mean,
I don't think there's a video of it falling.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
And it was kind of sad because modern TikTok era, social media era, there were people around the building who were filming, obviously, and it was just kind of sad because they were just like, man, this is crazy, and it's just like that there's people like buried under that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just the way we are now, where it's like you whip out your phone, you start filming it, but it's like not a lot of people offering help, really, but. Multiple people are being saved and rescued. 9, which is incredible. That's
Yeah.
great that 9 people
Yeah, look at
survived.
that. That's somebody's closet right there.
Yeah, dude. It looks like a mini Oklahoma City bombing, bro. I got to be honest.
Yeah, it
with you.
does.
Like the way that it collapsed, it just looks like, like it says, collapse was like a bomb. It actually says in the article. It was very weird, man. But maybe. We have.
You
like,
know what? Well, I'm thinking about like what we were talking about last week with the missing ammonium nitrate, and they're like kind of like, I'm getting all conspiratorial here. Maybe I shouldn't, but I mean, maybe it was a bomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe this was like a freaking like plant, and they just wanted to see how this shit worked, and they're like, yep, here we know what to do now.
Yeah. So I like where you're going with it. The only problem is there was a ton of people around as it was collapsing, and there was no bomb going off. Like Oklahoma City,
Yeah.
you could hear it. It
The
was
explosion
there
part
was
of
an
it.
I mean, if you have an explosion big enough to do that kind of damage, you're going to hear it for blocks, miles. And apparently that was not the case. This tended to just like collapse, and so
This guy said the moment of the collapse was like a bomb
yeah,
resonating throughout the building.
yeah. I mean, of course, it shook
Yeah,
the
this
entire
guy
building.
says, I opened up the door to my apartment and there was daylight. It was supposed to be a
Wow.
hallway.
yeah.
Could you? It just happened right at the edge of his apartment, dude.
Yeah,
Imagine-
How wild.
can you imagine? Go, what the hell was that sound? And you open your door and just like you see the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that when we had that car hit our house years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I said like it was like a bomb because like it shakes and there's a violent like boosh, like it's shaking
sure,
of the
dude.
house, and you don't know what to expect. And like to your point, like I imagine that whole building shook,
Oh yeah.
and then you get up. You're like, what the fuck is going on right now? You open the door and it's a fucking drop. You're like, what the hell
Yeah.
is happening? But my thing is safety. Like if you knew the building was unsafe and that you had to tear it down, then what were people doing living in there?
Yeah.
Like you would
Like
just
how there were so many things wrong with this building. How was it not like
dude, there's so many buildings like
condemned
that.
or like people weren't going in and say, hey, you can't allow people to be living in here right now. It's not
Right?
not a safe
Did
building.
they say how old this building was?
I didn't see.
Because
don't
I
think
don't
so.
know, like buildings built now, I feel like have these code regulations. Like everything's so regulated now
Yeah.
that I feel like
It's an
this
old-
would be impossible.
This is an old building. I mean, it
has
looks
to be,
it
right?
looks very old.
Yeah.
It has a lot of the old, I'd say like 1930s architecture. 30s, 40s. Like it's been around, I think, for a minute.
think about like New York City and how many old buildings there are there.
Oh, yeah.
And like, are they all just going to start collapsing soon?
Well, I mean, it depends on if they've been doing upkeep to the building appropriately.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
reinforcing it.
But that's the thing, though, is they just came out and said this was unsafe and they're going to tear it down. So obviously, them doing checks on buildings works. The problem is once they deem it unsafe and that it needs to be torn down, instead of like we need to get people out, you have a week.
Yeah, why
you have
would
a couple days to get them out? Like no, it's just keep them in there until demolition day and then hope it stands.
Yeah, that's fucked.
That's where the problem is. It's not that they didn't catch it; they did.
They did. They just didn't get anybody out.
Yeah.
They just decided we'll just make money until we have to tear it down.
Bro. Lawsuits for days.
Is it lawsuits?
I mean,
I would
I
sue
think
the
they were
fuck.
warned.
If
I
they-
think the
if they-
residents were warned.
if they knew that information and didn't close the building, knowing that they needed to tear it down, and just let people stay there.
I don't know how that works, dude.
Well, I'll tell you
Because
this.
if the people signed like an agreement
Well,
saying
I mean,
like,
if-
yes, I know I'm at a risk, then
Well,
they can't.
yeah, I mean,
Sure.
if they were like warned, saying, "Hey, the building's not safe; it's going to be torn down," and I don't know.
Well, here's the deal. If you were in this building, think of what you would do. And what I would say is you get a knock on the door that says, hey, we've done some maintenance on this building and we realize that, we're going to be tearing this down. I'm sure they got a news email or something that was passed along saying this building is going to be torn down. You guys need to find new residents. I would have to imagine I would say, how unsafe is this building exactly? Like, are you telling me that it's like could fall? And if they're saying, no, you're fine, we just need to tear down the building because there's not repairable. If they said like, no, you're okay for right now, everything should be fine, then there's a lawsuit happening. If they said you sign a paper saying like, hey, we're not responsible, then you should still move out because then you're like, okay, yeah, they're not confident that this thing's going to stay standing.
It says the cause of the collapse has not been determined, and the building's owner had current permits for the repairs of the walls.
Huh.
Mm.
After extensive
owner.
rescue operation, no confirmed viable signs of life were noted going forward. If he had it, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know who you put at fault for this.
Yeah, I don't know.
If the business owner had permits to make repairs, was he told that it was like these are extremely damaging issues that could lead to a collapse? Or was it just like, yeah, you got a crack, bro, and they just no one saw
Yeah.
it coming?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
if we knew the whole story, if we knew like what the communication was from the owner to
Exactly.
the residents, then we would know.
exactly.
what's-
Like if the city deemed it unsafe and we're going to tear it down, why would they even issue them permits to fix things?
yeah,
I don't know,
right?
dude. I don't know. It's a wild story. I mean, it's rare to see just a piece of a building collapse.
Yeah.
Especially in America. It's very, very uncommon. And so when you do see it, you're like, holy shit. And it kind of screams like Oklahoma City. I mean, when you look at this and you look at Oklahoma City,
Yeah.
obviously it's a lot more grand. Oklahoma City was huge, but it looks the same, bro. It's just a smaller
does.
form.
Yeah.
It looks the
Eerily
same.
similar.
But with the explosion, like none of the windows are blown out. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of like things that you can look
Exactly.
at and you could just say that clearly wasn't a bomb because if it was, those windows would have been gone.
And there'd be burning.
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't think there
Signs of
was on
burning.
Oklahoma City bombing, dude.
I think there was some stuff on fire, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, just
Either
look
way.
it up.
Yeah, either way. Just look at the Oklahoma City bombing building and just see like what it looked like. I feel like I just saw it in the documentary and I feel like it didn't look burnt at all.
there's definitely some signs that it looks burnt, dude. Yeah,
Oh, sure.
I mean, you
Well,
could tell
I mean-
it, like melting. You know what I mean?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, I guess
It's hard to
maybe.
it's hard to see because of all the material. You know what I mean? Like there's so many like
But that is huge. Look at that.
that is a
so
massive explosion,
fucking huge.
bro. That is a massive explosion.
Yeah.
But you see the debris scatter, like how it
yeah,
how it
it's
looks.
like
I mean,
all the way over here. even.
yeah, I mean that's where you see like actual projection rather than just straight collapse.
Yeah.
For sure.
That was a wild situation though. But yeah, I mean,
I mean, that's like 9/11 was a collapse, quote
Yeah.
unquote, and I mean, you had debris all over the place.
well,
yeah, but it was also falling from a quarter mile up in the sky.
however you look at it, like when the plane
Yeah.
hits, it blew out. You know what I mean? So you had
Yeah,
debris
so there was
immediately.
really an actual explosion from the plane hitting.
horrible.
That's true. Or something.
Never know.
You never know.
Anyway, I thought it was an interesting story. I thought it was interesting. And it's, you know,
Yes,
obviously
that
we
is,
pray for everybody and make sure that everybody's okay. And, you know, hopefully they can
For sure.
recover bodies if they have to and at
Yeah.
least give proper burials, not in a piece of crap crate like the old woman.
well, and it seems like this is happening more and more often now. I mean, right? Just last month in New York City, a couple years ago in Florida. Now it's in Iowa. It's like all over the place.
Well, I mean, we do have cities that don't keep up with shit. I mean, you go around Portland, you go around Chicago, and I've never been there, but you can just go around and find old, raggedy buildings that you really shouldn't have people living there. And they really need to do a better job of that because low
they're
income.
exposed to like the weather too, like those harsh weather storms.
For sure, dude. What else do you got, man? I saw you. I know you got a few.
I wanted to talk about this bus driver who got fired for protecting himself. Right? So this was
supposedly
a bus driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was fired after the job. Well, from his job.
Yep.
When a rider pulled out a gun and threatened to pop his ass. Okay. And it was there's this video that kind of shows it just talks about the whole brief encounter. It does show them kind of shooting back and forth. So I mean there is some violence in there. So I don't know if you want to show it, but it kind of describes what's happening. And they're going after this guy. So what happens in the video is a passenger is getting angry because he wants to get off the bus. And so he goes up to the bus driver. He's like, stop the bus and all this stuff. And he's like going back and forth in the aisle. And then he like comes up to the driver and he pulls out a gun. He's like, I'm going to pop your ass. And then the driver pulls out his gun and starts shooting him. And then they have like a shooting back and forth battle. It actually reminded me of, remember the movie Smoking Aces?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they had Ray Liotta had that shootout in the elevator.
Yeah.
Close combat, just
There's some like John Wick shit, right?
They should have.
That's what it reminded me
It
of.
would have been funny if the guy would have been like, "I'm gonna pop your ass," and then the driver's like, "I'm gonna pop your ass," and then the other guy was like, "I'm gonna pop your ass," and he pull, and they just keep pulling out guns.
So it's like Looney Tunes.
More and more guns.
Or if he would have said, "You killed my dog," something like that. I think that would have really gave him a nice touch. The guy wanted off the bus, and they weren't at a bus stop. That's why the driver did not stop. He was saying, "We're not at our destination yet. I can't stop."
Oh.
Yeah.
So the guy's going to shoot the driver because he didn't stop
22-year-old.
at just a random place?
Yeah, 22-year-old Tobias asked Fowler to be let off the bus.
Wait, his name's Assfaller?
No,
asked Fowler
Oh, okay.
to be let off the bus, but Fowler refused as they had not arrived at a bus stop. Tobias continued to argue, made several threats before he pulled a gun on the driver. What's the problem? What's the problem here? He pulled a gun on the driver. He was protecting himself.
The problem is he had a gun, Dave, okay? And that's dangerous for our city drivers, and this is in where? North Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have a public bus driver in North Carolina carry a weapon.
I feel like of all places that should be carrying many places.
I feel like if
that's
that bus
one.
driver wasn't carrying a weapon, he'd be the one dead.
I feel like that. And also, have you seen the buses, the public transportation in major cities? I'm sorry, but that shit's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, these
if you
people
don't have a gun on you and you're riding a bus, shame on you.
Wait, so did the passenger actually die?
Yeah, the passenger died, but the
Okay.
bus driver got shot in the midsection too, so he's recovering.
Okay.
Dude, play the video. I think the video is worth watching because it shows like the confrontation, and it's like a news, ABC 7, whatever.
I just don't want to get any copyright shit.
Oh, well, if we get copyrighted, then we'll just cut it out.
Yeah,
and people will know.
Hey, I'm
I'll be in the
not
video,
gonna play any sound.
No sound.
Oh, okay.
So you got the last so he comes up right here.
As a
He's waving a gun, bro. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. He says, "I'm gonna pop your ass" right there. See, and this guy's just see that close battle, like Smoking Aces right here.
Oh yeah, while they were driving, like they weren't even close to stopped.
I mean, I'm sorry, but this kid looks like a fucking.
What the hell?
What,
It's
Dave?
just a thug, dude. This is the shit that bothers me, man. Like, I have nothing against tattoos, but you're like fully tatted. You're 22 years old. Like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, man?
Well,
as soon as you pull out a gun.
I mean, you have tattoos.
I know. I don't care about that. But I'm saying you're 22. You're obviously stupid. And you see this kid. He comes up. He's got a fucking attitude. And he literally pulls a gun. And I'm sorry, but if you pull a gun out and
he
start
was
waving,
mindful about staying behind the yellow line.
for a minute.
That's true.
For a minute.
Abide by the rules.
Yeah, for a minute. But my problem is like
crossover right there.
New culture, thinking that like everybody has to abide by what they want. Like there's bus stops, there's certain stopping points for these buses to go to, and if you fucked up and you missed your stop, guess what? You get off on the next one. You know what I'm saying? And so it's this entitlement life, and then on top of it, the fact that you pull out a gun and start just waving it around, you're asking for. That's thug mentality. You're asking for problems. Yeah. If you pull out a gun, expect somebody to shoot your ass.
No shit, dude.
And if he doesn't, you're lucky. But this guy obviously like, fuck this, man. You know what? To be fair, this bus driver's probably dealt with so many fucking assholes on this bus, and probably threats and people being crazy that he's like, to protect myself, I need to have a weapon on me.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking blame him. That's where these gun laws are shit, because this guy should be able to protect himself.
Yeah.
And to Chris's
wait
point,
a second.
What?
So I think I got this wrong. I don't know if the driver was shot in the stomach. It says like right here, Fullard was shot in the arm. So Fullard is the driver.
Yeah.
He was shot in the arm and is recovering at home, while Tobias was shot in the abdomen. So
Okay.
So
it was the other way around.
He's not dead either.
yes. I don't think he got out of the hospital and went to jail for numerous charges. Yeah, so he's not dead either. So no one died.
Good. I'm glad. I don't
Yeah,
want to see anybody die, but it's a hard lesson, man. Like the kid, the 22-year-old, and I'm going to call him a kid because clearly he's not mature enough to handle situations.
He's a kid, dude. Yeah, he's a kid.
He should have never had this situation. This would have never happened. If he would have not pulled the gun out, you could have been combative all day. You could have been like, just stop the fucking bus all day long, and he would have just said, what an asshole, and moved on with your day.
Yeah, except you would have gone like a few hundred yards and been in another bus stop.
Yeah. But that's not where it doesn't end there. It doesn't end with just being an asshole and a demanding person. No, you had to wave a gun. And I'm sorry, but that guy wants to go home to, I'm assuming, a wife or kids, or who knows, maybe he's single, doesn't matter. He wants to go home at the end of his shift. And if somebody's waving a gun and you're protected, you're shooting that guy point blank every single time, dude.
Well, and not only that, but why would you piss off the bus driver even more? Because we all know bus drivers are fucking pissed, aren't they not? Like, they hate people. They're like, I'm thinking of frickin' Chris Farley in Billy Madison, where he's just driving. He's like, red face, give me the fuck off.
I think you become like callous to the whole situation. Honestly, like there's. Public transit sucks, bro, and I feel bad for people that have to use it that are good people.
And clearly there's always been issues because this guy had protective glass all the way around the driver.
Well, no, I think that's
is
just
that a thing though?
I think
I've never been on a bus that has that.
I think that's just a shield
that you know of,
like a
what do you
COVID
mean that
shield.
I know of? I know that I've never been on a bus that has that.
I've been
you
on
know
buses
what it looks like when you're seeing it, the bulletproof glass.
I've never seen
like
a bus driver
glass?
encased in a thing like that before.
I don't think he's encased all the way, dude. Like I think it stops right there. I think that's just like a plexiglass COVID shield.
Yeah, COVID shield.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell like there's like a point where it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be bulletproof, but I'm guessing it's probably
not. He shot right through it.
It looks like plexi to me, dude.
Yeah.
See how it splinters up and
Yeah.
it's not even. Yeah, I think that's just plexiglass for like the restrictions that never got taken down.
Yeah.
But because you can see the windows of the bus that actually did get blown out. You know what I'm saying? They're fractured all over the place. What a wild situation, man. What's even more wild is that you actually will get in trouble for protecting yourself. That's where we're at. And I think that's the biggest take from this.
And not only that, but the bus driver continued shooting after Tobias was crawling away off the bus.
Yeah.
So he
I don't
got
care.
up and started shooting at him again.
I don't know if he just continued shooting him or he was also trying to drive the bus while protecting himself. He was trying not to crash into buildings.
Yeah, you could see him going up on the sidewalk.
Yeah, so I'm sure he was like boom, boom, and then he had his eyes this way, but it was also he probably wasn't looking where the guy actually
No,
was.
I'm talking about after he stopped the bus, he got up and was walking down the aisle and was like, looked towards him and like shot. And I think Tobias was still on the bus.
Yeah.
So he might have still been on the bus with the gun in his hand, so he's like going to shoot him. You know what I mean?
What's your take on that? Because in my opinion, a guy just pulled a gun on you, and I'm gonna shoot him till I feel like there's no threat left.
Because
He's still on that fucking bus. It's not like he ran out of the bus and was running away. He was still on the fucking bus with a handgun.
Exactly.
And was willing to have a
actually,
shootout with you.
And if you watch, you can actually see after Fuller, the driver, shoots Tobias again, like when he gets up and starts walking down the aisle, it looks like Tobias throws his gun out on the floor. Like, okay, you can have it. Like, I'm just going to leave, So it's right here. So he gets shot in the arm right here where he keeps on walking. Now watch up at the top. You'll see something slide out. It looks like it may be a gun.
He threw the gun after he took off out of the bus.
Exactly.
Well, of course, he didn't want to have any evidence. You know what I'm saying? But see, this dude's like, he could listen. Right there is a prime example of he saw the guy walking away, that he was injured, and he didn't continue to shoot.
Exactly.
You see the guy get out, and he's behind the thing. He sees the man walking away. He's obviously hurt. He could have dropped him right there.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't. On the bus, he took care of business. That's my opinion. The threat was still there. The guy still had a gun.
Well, isn't that like
That's exactly
the same thing as like a police officer? They're policy is like once there's an immediate threat to life, you eliminate that.
Yeah, you eliminate the
Well,
threat.
yeah, if the guy has a gun still in his hand, then
Yep.
you're gonna have to go after him again. It's like if he's still on the bus,
Yep.
like Dave was saying, he has a gun in his hand, like he's still a threat.
It seemed to me from the video, which obviously there's missing pieces, but it seems that once the man left the bus, the guy did get off the bus and was hiding behind a thing watching. And as the guy was walking away, he did not proceed to
No,
shoot
he went
and
back
kill
to
him.
the bus.
He went back to the bus. So I'm just
Exactly.
saying, like, I don't know, man. This is where the law gets fucking weird to me. Like, I feel like you have the right to take care of business when something like that happens. And he did the right thing by letting him go once he was out of threat's way. But, like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to really arrest this dude now?
I don't know if he's gonna get arrested. He just got fired.
Why would he
Like,
even get fired?
Well, for having a gun, and he's a
Oh,
public
God.
bus driver, and they don't
So
want him.
stupid.
And that's part of the video where it shows the official saying, we just can't have this safety. It's a safety risk. We can't have our drivers have weapons.
Yeah, we're cool with just getting him shot in the head. That's cool. Like,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
That's
good luck trying to find a replacement driver now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, this was old Billy's bus. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make it. So good luck with you. You know what I mean? What's this
Yeah.
bullet hole over here? That's where it went through. No big deal.
Oh, that little thing? I wouldn't worry about that little thing.
Why does the horn sound so fun?
It's like, is this job safe? Like, oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
That's
totally
why we
safe,
got
man.
this plexiglass here.
Yeah. It's enough. It's enough to, stop a fragment. It's a wild situation.
God.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we're in a time where this is what's happening, and then also,
Yep.
if you have something to protect yourself, you're fired from your job for it. Because I think any person, even the most liberal person, anti-gun person, would hope that they have a gun in that situation, would do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody
They
was,
said that he failed to de-escalate the situation.
there's
I
a
think
gun
that's
waving
exactly
in your face.
what he
What are you
did.
talking about? How do you de-escalate that, man? You think that he just has all the right moves? He's gonna like just, like those videos where they just snap the gun on your hand and no, like he was driving a bus.
I know.
He's like a Steven
I can't stop
Seagal.
right here. Can't stop. Oh shoot, there's a gun.
And luckily there was not more people
Like
on that
they
bus,
want him to
bro.
pull like a Jackie Chan Steven Seagal move where
Yeah.
he like punches through
Well,
the
that's all fake,
glass
though.
and then grabs the gun
Yeah.
and like
Oh, yeah.
the guy gets eliminated.
Or
without,
Spock, the Vulcan pinch, make a comeback. No,
the Vulcan pinch?
yeah.
What is that?
You're a little sucker. Where you do this and you just kind of
Wow.
pinch somebody in it. You know what I mean? Like you do the V and you
I don't think that's what it's
pop
for.
them right in the neck.
That sounds like one of those videos that like
Don't think
those
that's
guys
what
that
that's
always claim
for.
that they can stop everything. You
I
ever see
mean,
those?
Oh yeah.
Where he's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I
just
don't-
hitting-
I
For
don't
the
think
audio listeners, you make the Vulcan sign, right? The two in the pink, two in the stink, and then you
that's not also not
I
what
feel
that
like
is.
I think you're off on that.
I don't think that's what that sign is actually like a fighting move.
No.
like, yeah, it is, dude. It's called the Vulcan
I mean,
pinch. Look it up.
I don't know like Star Trek, but I could be wrong. I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I should add that to like my Rolodex of fighting moves. You know what I mean?
The
The
Vulcan
bite the
pinch.
onion, the poop scoop, the fling in the eyes, and then the Vulcan pinch. to
And then
end it, you know?
ultimately, if you have to resort to it, the Vulcan pinch.
That's
I mean,
the
if that's your
death move.
last to go to thing, you're fucked, dude. Like that's not good. That's not good.
Hey, I
I
might
feel
as
like
well throw it out there.
if all else fails, I have a pinch. Then you're
Gotta die.
you're
I'm
screwed.
gonna die with style.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Oh God.
God darn it, man. Another one I thought was interesting was the situation with the 18-year-old that jumped overboard. Did you hear about this situation with the boat?
Cameron Robbins, yes.
Yeah, it's the third one here. They've actually suspended the search for him at this point. Search suspended for Louisiana teen Cameron Robbins, who allegedly went overboard on a dare in the Bahamas. Stupid. I don't know what was it a cruise ship? I didn't see that part. Was it an actual cruise ship or was it just like a kind of a smaller boat? Either way,
Royal Bahamas Defense Force was not. So they stopped looking for him. It doesn't say where he jumped off of. Was it just like a?
there was
I don't
video
know.
of it. Yeah, there was some video of it of other people showing him, and you could actually see him in the water.
From a sunset cruise on Blackbeard's Revenge.
Yeah, that sounds like a low-level ship right there. But either way, he was dared to jump. Apparently did so. And there's some dark videos. It was at night, but you can actually see people like laughing and kind of like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And he's just floating in the water. As
Well,
the
what the
as
fuck
the
do you
boat
think's
keeps
gonna
going.
happen?
I don't know.
There's
I
no
don't
one
know.
driving the boat that sees you jump off.
I mean, even if they did, I feel like I don't know, like, how do you?
It's not like you can just hit the brakes.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like you can just stop, but this is dumb.
This is what worries me is because you see these teens nowadays and the TikTok trends and all this shit. I just saw another teen who's like brain dead. They just pulled a plug on her because she sniffed something, like the huffing gases and all that shit, right? Chemical huff, sniffing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I worry about my kids doing stupid shit like this.
We all do.
Because I know, like, kids just get risky, dude. They're like, I want to impress my friends. Look at this. Yeah. I can't think anymore. Well, so I just worry about the future of our children. And, like, I kind of want to show my kids this kind of stuff. Be like, look what happens.
Yeah. Remember, like, the Tide Pod Challenge and all that bullshit? I mean, the thing is...
Well, we were taught the thing where, like, if you're told to jump off a bridge, would you do it? If everyone else is jumping off.
Yeah, but we still did stupid shit,
if you're told to jump off a boat, you don't do it.
But remember, like, back in the day, we used to, like, do that whole thing where we're, like, grabbing each other's necks on the wall, and we're just, like...
Oh, yeah.
In inches from death.
What?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you, like, put your...
You make each other pass out?
You make you pass out, dude, and and, like, you just fall and hope everything's fine, dude.
That's dumb as shit.
Our buddy Sean did that.
I have never done that.
Our buddy Sean, like, squatted down.
Yeah.
Put his hands, like, his elbows inside of his knees. And then just like did this, put his hands up to his own neck, and then his head hit the ground.
It did.
I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah, and that was like that was a thing that people did for fun back in the day.
What?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I've tried it a couple times. Stupid.
I would never voluntarily go unconscious like that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the thing is you get around a group of people and they make suggestions like, dude, I saw this, and you're like, yeah, bro, let's try it. And like, kids are dumb. Like, let's be real, kids are dumb.
Yeah.
But this boat, like this picture here, you can see it if you want to pop it up real fast. Like, the boat doesn't look like a huge cruise ship. It's not like a Disney fucking cruise ship.
There's him
like,
trying to swim along.
But it said that he jumped in, and then in the video you could see him, and then he kind of just vanishes in the dark.
Well, no shit.
And then at that point, it's like, how do you, it's pitch black outside, bro. You know what I mean? Like, how do you find somebody very easily? It's not like he has flares or like a fucking life jacket or anything to spot him.
Yeah.
And so it's sad. I feel bad for his parents and shit because, how you have to tell, what happened? He died? What happened? It's like, jumped off a ship, like... Fucking took a dare. Like, that's a hard thing to swallow, dude. As a parent, that would be a hard thing to swallow.
Yep.
So I'm guessing he's I'm guessing he's gone. Unless he's like, I don't know, maybe he's like Tom Hanks, bro. He's castaway. He's on an island somewhere. We could always have wishful thinking. He's living with a volleyball right now.
Maybe he's living inside of a cave. Like, remember that
well, he was near the island.
He was close.
Yeah. Blackbeard's Island.
Look how close he was.
Or Atoll Island.
There is a chance.
I feel like he would have.
He
was 18. I feel like if he would have survived, he would have definitely been screaming and found somebody. There's Rose there. There's obviously people there. I'm just saying, if he did, like, I think they would find him by now. But I'm thinking a current token. That's what's happening. It's unfortunate, sad. But to your point,
Be
Greg,
careful, kids.
It's a good thing to
don't jump overboard.
Use as reference points when you, especially as a parent. You know what I mean? Where you got kids that are going to be getting older, and you say like, hey, people do stupid shit, and they don't come back from it. So don't do it.
Yeah, you got to scare them straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ooh, that's the thing we need to bring back. Scare straight. I just watched that with my kids the other day. They were being little shits, bro. And I was like, hey, listen, you don't understand. Like, I said, like, I could send your ass to Scare Straight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Showed them. They've never seen it before. They're younger.
Is that the one where they take the kids to jail and stuff?
Yeah, but the old ones are, I think, better. But, I was like, look at these guys just screaming at these kids, bro. Hold my pocket. Hold my pocket. And then my kids are like, why are they doing that? I'm like, you don't want to know what's going on with that.
I watched an episode where one of the prisoners made one of the kids give him his shoes. He's like, hey, little kid, give me your shoes. And he's like, okay, here you go, mister. And they just like showed him walking around like barefoot or in his socks. And I'm like, ooh.
That was a wicked show, dude. And it was, and honestly, we probably need more of that nowadays. You know what I mean? Kids aren't afraid of that shit. And, there was some that were hard to break. But they ended up breaking. But you could tell right away. There were some kids that were all tough and shit until they had somebody screaming in the face and they were just sobbing.
I feel like just kids nowadays, they don't have consequences for their actions. And that's leading to even more bad behavior.
Yeah, and I think like...
Or dumb behavior.
They're willing to like yell at like older people knowing that they can't fight them back. Like they're not going to hit them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's against
it's
the law.
it's that woke agenda, bro.
Yeah.
It's like I can't fight back anymore. I
Well,
can't
and
push back. I can't tell kids to shut the fuck up. You
Well,
know
and
what I
it's the complete loss of respect for anybody else.
Yeah, and I don't know. Could they even get away with that anymore? Like you have a prisoner screaming, "I'm gonna fuck you later, kid, if you don't get your shit together," and they're like, "What?"
Oh boy, I don't know if they say
No,
that.
I think they did before. They said, "You're gonna be my bitch."
Scared
tonight."
gay.
Yeah,
God.
Not
I've heard them say
scared
that.
straight.
Though. They said they're gonna like make him their bitch, man. You know what I mean? Like we fresh meat, bro. We look at you. We come in. We just want you, baby. You're gonna be mine tonight. They've said that shit.
Wow.
Did they?
Yes, absolutely, dude.
I've never
Absolutely.
watched it.
Watch that fresh meat.
The
shit.
only part I've seen of that is like when they would do that, like on the Maury show or something like that.
Yes,
Oh,
more.
yeah.
Remember?
See, I didn't believe that as much.
They'd
for
take
some
him
reason.
in and they'd yell at him and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
There was that one episode where the kid was literally holding that man's pocket the entire show. Like he just didn't he's like, "You're holding it the whole show," and this fucking little tiny kid's just holding his pocket. You know what I mean? Like walking around, and it was relentless, dude. And that's traumatizing.
Yeah.
But that's what
Dude,
you need.
I just looked up scared straight fresh meat,
Yeah.
and there's actually a phobia of meat.
Oh.
Fear of meat. It's called carnophobia.
Carnophobia.
I don't have that.
I feel like that's what most
Wow.
vegans have. You know what I'm saying? Like a
Sad
carnophobia.
soul has this. Yeah.
We're not addressing the real issue. It's not that you want to be healthy; it's you're afraid of it.
Yeah, you're just afraid of meat.
Afraid of me. Carnophobia.
But
Who
did
has
you
it?
know that
That's what it
Scared
is.
Straight went back to 1978?
Absolutely, and that's what I was telling you.
really?
The oldest episodes are actually
The more savage ones.
a little bit, yeah, because they
Yeah, 'cause
obviously
they get
they
away with more.
They got away with more, but it used to be like you used to go into a set like way back in the day. There's like a studio setting, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and there was like the prisoner stuff. Now it's like you actually go into the jail, and I don't know when that started when they were going into the jails,
I
but
think-
they used to have a setting.
I think
where,
it was when Maury started doing it.
I don't know, man. I mean, Scared Straight was
Dude,
doing
I'm
that
going
in
to
the
send
90s.
the link to you, Chris.
It was
And look at these pictures, because this is like some old school shit, dude.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
but it was
liking this.
like the program in itself. Like, I mean, obviously it's not 100% success rate, but there were a lot of kids, and you know, obviously with updates,
Well, that's
there
that's
was a
what
lot
this
of
article
kids that
says.
learned. Yeah, that is some old. That's some old
It's
shit,
like,
bro.
did this famous 1978 program work? Not really. ...
See, I disagree with that. I disagree with
Scroll down. Look at some of these pictures, like this one where this dude's just screaming in these
Is
kids'
that Macaulay
face.
Culkin?
that. Yeah, man.
Oh, he went trans.
I think I was gonna say that's the first transgender right there.
Right here. Multiple studies have shown that the program doesn't work.
See, I hate that shit. Bullshit. Because discipline and fear will change you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you actually
Go down
watch,
to what is this? Does this guy have a third nipple in the middle of his stomach? What is this protrusion coming out of his shirt?
That's a nubbin.
dude, I'm sorry, bro, but this article sucks. Scared Straight is worse than doing nothing. I totally disagree, man. Like sometimes having a fear, a healthy fear of like what could happen if you do something
deterrent,
stupid is a
yes.
deterrent. Like the idea of like you're better off just not doing anything with your kids. Bullshit.
Hello.
I don't believe that at all,
No.
dude. And I do know that there are probably a lot of kids who benefited greatly from the fact that they were, you know, they were scared, literally. You know what I mean? Like they knew that like, oh crap, like jail's not fun. Because you know that whole like thug mentality where you're like, I don't give a shit if I go to jail. I'm the toughest fucking kid I know. You know? It
Well,
hits you a little bit.
look at their
I'll do
banner
it.
down below. This website's banner.
Oh yeah. Groovy history, peace, love, hope, faith.
unity, faith, joy.
Yeah. These fucking hippies.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with those things. It's
These
just, you know,
fucking
don't
hippies.
exploit it and don't fall into the movement. the woke
Yeah,
culture.
I think this is a bad example. But the pictures are cool because
I mean, there was a lot of reasons why I didn't do things growing up because I was afraid of
consequence.
like consequence or like what my dad would think or what he would say
Exactly,
based
yeah.
on what I did.
That's what it is, Chris. It's like kids are not, they don't care about disappointing their parents or disappointing adults.
They don't.
They don't give a shit anymore.
Well,
They're like,
no.
I don't give a fuck if someone's disappointed with me.
No.
Yeah, and I think too, like, you know, the idea of like, you know,
Well, and that's back to the whole respect thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the idea of like growing up and my dad was a fighter, you know what I'm saying? Like he was, you know, pretty ruthless back in the day. And he would tell you, like, you don't know who the fuck you're going. It's like a small person, you may think like I'm gonna kick this guy's ass. Like you don't know what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? So it's just like the idea of like no one's gonna punch you back is kind of the new thing. You know, like you just feel like you can talk shit and no one's really gonna act on it anymore. And especially these kids who talk shit to adults, they know that adults not just gonna punch a fucking 15-year-old. But so there's no like real consequence to it. They know it. That's why they do
Yeah.
it.
Well, and social media makes it worse because they become like these keyboard warriors, and they're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. They're just like keyboard bullies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just
no consequence.
I think you can look at it the way being a person who's not been in fights and shit, like like there's a time and a place for it, and I've never had to deal with that really. You know what I mean? Like you just resolve it, you go away. You know when you have to really throw down. You know what I mean? If you need to, you're protecting your wife, your kids, or something. Like there's those things, but I think these kids are just trying to be tough, man. You know what I mean? And they know there's no consequence. So you see these little punks, and especially it's getting worse, and 10, 12-year-olds now are just shit talkers, bro.
Yeah.
And that probably has a lot to do with that keyboard warrior shit you're talking about, where they just do it on fucking Call of Duty, and they think they can do it out in the real world, and it's like eventually somebody's going to knock your ass out.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have a little realization that's like, I'm not as tough as I thought I was. And that's where I think this program was great.
And you're seeing all of these mass shootings happen with younger adults, younger males with weapons, right? And like this shooting on the bus was a 22-year-old male. We had a mass shooting over in Florida, Hollywood Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
Probably a young shooter. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, you're noticing all of these trends of they want young people to have guns because they know that they have corrupted them, and they know that they're just like gonna go do whatever the fuck they want because they're just like they'll snap,
Yeah, we actually have it up there, Chris. Already, there's an article, the 9-shot.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so 9-shot, including minors. Ooh, that's rough, dude. Memorial Day gunfire erupts in Hollywood.
They
Beach,
range
Florida.
between 1-year-old and 17 years old.
That's fucked, bro.
So one suspect was reportedly arrested for the mass shooting, but they didn't release anything about the suspect.
And that's the thing is like, how much was it with drunk gang violence? Like, who knows what it actually was? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's unfortunate. 5 victims were ages 25 to 65. 8 of the 9 victims, including a 1-year-old, are in stable condition with 1 person in surgery. That's amazing. If the 1-year-old only had minor, I mean, that's devastating getting shot at 1 year old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sad. But, yeah, man.
But I'm just saying, like, if you look at the age of the shooters in these mass shootings, it seems like they're going down. Like, it's getting, they're getting younger, right? The age is going down.
Yeah. Which is also part of the problem, like, making sure you're protecting your weapons and shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Basic knowledge.
Yeah.
Basic knowledge. But, yeah, man, it's an interesting time. I don't know where we got on that scary story. I'm going to have to go back and watch some of that shit, though. That was entertaining shit, dude.
Yeah.
Maury, not so much. I mean, Maury was fun. But like the actual Scary Straight program, I thought was interesting and was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man.
Good show, fellas.
Good show, dude.
Yeah, needs to go back to that direction, I feel like.
I think so, too. We're going to have to at some point, man.
Yeah.
We're going to have to at some point. So, Greg, good talking with you, my man.
Hell yeah, brothers.
Cheers.
Glad you're back.
Congratulations, Chris, on putting a down payment. Or not a down payment, but offer on a home. That's great.
Yeah, we'll see.
Excited. We'll see what happens. Cheers to you all. Make sure you guys go follow us on all channels and platforms. We're there.
Do it.
Do it.
Sayonara.